Welcome into the Voice of College Football with Texas. I am your host, Joshua, and I am joined by former NFL player Brandon Ross, aka B. Ross. We got a number of things we're going to be talking about today, finishing up on San Jose State, talking about UTEP. We're going to talk about the Texas offense, and we're going to finish off talking about some of the Longhorns who played in the NFL. B. Ross, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, J. Watt, man. It's a beautiful day. We're 1-1. I have no complaints right now.
That's good. That's good. All right, let's look. Last week was not a pretty week. It wasn't bad. It was better, I suppose, in some ways than the Ohio State game. But You win 38-7 versus San Jose State. Was not the prettiest game. We saw some positive. We saw some negative. Let's start off on the positive end. On our final thoughts here on the San Jose State game, what was your biggest positive takeaway from that game, and then what was your biggest negative takeaway from that game?
So my biggest positive, because I went back and watched the game yesterday, my biggest positive was we got takeaways. So that's imperative. Like, we were punching at the ball every chance we got, and we turned those into big plays. So I'm looking forward to that trend continuing for the next 2-3 weeks, because teams carry the ball loose. So Anthony Hill, 2 forced fumbles, like they were big plays. And I don't care who you play, when you can give your offense that short of a field with guys being that active on the ball, that's always a positive. And the negative, I would say, is that I just think we come out slow on both sides of the ball. I think on offense, we don't convert on third down. On defense, we don't get off the field on third down. Like, they only scored 7 points, but their third down percentage was pretty high, and it would have been higher had they not had 4 turnovers. So, so it was the slow start that kind of bothered me. But outside of that, overall, it was a solid day's work.
Yeah, I would say my biggest positive. So last time we were on, and I can't remember if I said this post game after Ohio State or on our last Tuesday live stream. But I talked about what I wanted to see from this game was one of these receivers step up and become the go-to guy. And I think in some ways we saw that from Parker Livingstone. It was actually so annoying. They kept calling him Parker Livingston. I was like freaking out. I was like, guys, come on now. But I like what I saw from him. I still think we need to get Ryan Wingo going. He has not really made a ton of plays out there. He's way too talented, way too good to not be getting the ball more.
Yeah.
But seeing Parker Livingstone take that big step forward, getting the touchdown, making some big plays throughout the game, I really was happy with what I saw from Parker. Now, on the negative side, you kind of took a little bit of what I was going to say, but I'll continue to kind of branch off here. I liked the improvements I saw from Arch, but a really slow start. And then towards the back end, it felt like we kind of took our foot off the gas a little bit. We win this game handily. The game was never in doubt, right? Texas was going to win this game. I would have liked to have beat them 40 plus or more, but you get 38. Right. My biggest concern, and we'll get to the offense here in a little bit, so I don't want to dive too much into this. 2 of 12 on third down. You had to go for it twice on fourth down. 12 penalties for 115 yards and 2 turnovers. 1 fumble lost, 1 interception thrown. San Jose State actually converted 4 of 15 on third down. We were 2 for 12, and we only had 2 more first downs. Now, our total yardage was a lot more. We were more productive because we have the better players.
Right.
But on the day, not being able to convert on third down, the turnovers, Arch Manning, I thought he took a step forward, but not a big enough step forward. I thought he had a nice day. I didn't think the interception was the biggest deal in the world because, you could argue maybe he was trying to throw it away, but I don't think so. I think it was just a mistake on his end. So that was one of my concerns. I also think the offensive line they took a step back. So, look, San Jose State, they gave us a fight for about 10 minutes. And then Texas, they had their little run. They went on the run, went up big. And then they just kind of put the car in cruise control for the rest of the way. So some positives, some negatives. What your final thoughts on San Jose and what can we take away from this game moving forward?
Yeah, so I said it in the post-game show of Ohio State. I wanted to see a clean game.
Yep.
Limit penalties, limit turnovers, limit the mental errors and the missed tackles, like just all the small stuff that can hurt you in bigger games. And we didn't do that. So, that was beyond frustrating because we were shooting ourselves in the foot time and time again with dumb penalties. We'll get big play, we'll get touchdowns, they're called back. will, like, so it's those small things that championship teams don't do, right? So, as we grow as a team, hopefully that gets better. But all the other stuff is pretty correctable, just in terms of arch and interception, ball security, mistake, like all of that is correctable. But the penalties, that's more so on each individual guy to take onus of, okay, I won't have this penalty again.
Yeah, I agree. And part of building a culture that we know is a big deal for Sarkisian, penalties are a big part of that. Are you locked in? This is a big, San Jose State game where you're trying to gain some momentum these next couple of weeks, but you come off this high from Ohio State where you put your heart and soul into that game, then you end up losing. Then you're back home opener versus a team that is, not that good. And so they made some mistakes. They made some mental errors that you want to see not happen. You want to see a clean, straightforward game. And unfortunately, you didn't really see that from Texas in this one. Again, the game was never in doubt. The run they made in the second quarter was a great run. Defense gets a stop or a turnover. Offense gets the ball. They score. Good complementary football. Then, Eget leads San Jose down, get a score. It's 28-7. And then it just felt like the offense was kind of flat throughout the rest of the day. So, look, we don't have to hit the panic button too hard about what we saw in this game. We saw enough positives to, come away of this game feeling just fine. It's not a big concern. But in the future, we definitely want to see some better stuff. And the nice thing is we have 2 straight games versus 2. UTEP has some talent, but Sam Houston's not very good. But we will see Texas go up against 2 teams that will not be able to compete with us, so we can get better and better and better. And, we just saw Florida lose, so that's a big one too.
But Florida lost to a really good USF team.
Yep, they got Miami this week. Yeah,
I watched it live, and I watched it on tape. USF's pretty good. But anyway, talking about this game coming up versus UTEP, I watched UTEP versus they played UT Martin this weekend. UTEP can't throw the ball. Everything comes off play action. If they have any success throwing the ball, I will be highly frustrated. Like the quarterback, he is either going short or he's pumping it downfield and he sprays the ball all over the place. They rely on the run game and they rely on tempo. So we have bigger athletes, better athletes, but we have to stop the run. And truthfully, we didn't really stop the run versus San Jose State. They just got into throwing the ball because they had 80 plus yards rushing and not that many carries. Like they were, I want to say over 3.5, 3.7, somewhere in there. And for a D line that is as good as ours and a front seven that's that good, I think 80 is too much. Like it's, I want to see dominant football now from this defense. Colin Simmons has to show up and not in the negative. He's only shown up in negative plays the first 2 weeks. It's been a roughing the passer, four offsides, I think. Anthony Hill bounced back. He said, I was quiet the first game. I was there, but I wasn't really impactful. He made his presence felt and showed why he was the best player on that defense. Colin Simmons has to step up, has to play a better game because that O-line cannot protect. I've seen it on. They cannot protect versus what we have. So I'm expecting him to have a big game and make some impactful plays. And on offense, I think we have to consciously get the run game going. We have to get to moving people. First, San Jose State, we weren't really that productive on the ground as we could have been or probably should have been. So I'm really looking forward to how we come out and play up front on both sides of the ball because that will always dictate the game. But because I think we're so much better, it's not even close. It's not close. We should dominate up front and everything else should fall in place.
Yeah, so they have Malachi Nelson, former, I believe, 5-star quarterback committed to USC.
Yep.
Obviously didn't work out there. He transferred to Boise State, lost the starting job, and then he transfers now over to UTEP. So far, he's an okay quarterback. 456 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's 60% completion percentage. There's a target here in Kenny Odom, 14 receptions for 221 yards. This is going to be the guy they're probably going to target, 5'10", 170, so a bit of a speedster guy. Lock that guy down. You should be fine. Rushing the ball, they're not the most effective team in the world. Their leading rusher with 16 carries has only 67 yards, 4.2 yards per carry. So I'm not too overly concerned. They also have, I believe, a defensive player that also moves over to the offense as well. So keep an eye out on that one. I'm not concerned about UTEP, okay? UTEP has...
Absolutely.
Yes, Malachi Nelson has the former 5-star prestige to his name, but he's not a 5-star player. That was just a miss in the ranking. So they don't have the talent. I will say one thing to note, and one thing that I am keeping my eyes especially on, UTEP has 10 sacks through 2 games. Granted, they played Utah State and UT Martin, probably two, not very good teams, but 10 sacks through 2 weeks. I want to see Texas have a game where Arch Manning has a clean pocket. I want, at most 1 sack, but ideally 0 sacks. I want to see Baker really start to come into fruition here. I want to see DJ Campbell play better, man. DJ Campbell, It's not like he's performing bad. It's just the penalties and things of that nature that he's got to clean up. The left side of the offensive line, arguably the youngest side of our offensive line, is outplaying soundly the right side. I mean, DJ Campbell, Brandon Baker, they're holding their own, right? They're getting the job done. They had a brutal first matchup versus Ohio State, and then last week, you should have dominated. So I want to see those guys clean it up. No penalties. Let's clean up the penalties. Let's clean up on the offensive line. You talked about getting the run game going. Obviously, no Trey Wisner last week. I don't know if he's ready to go for this week, but if he is, then let's get him involved.
Would you play him?
No, I wouldn't. I personally want to see Gibson right now. CJ Baxter, of course, give Baxter 10 carries. He'll be fine. Let's really save Baxter for your Oklahomas and Floridas of the world. I want to see Gibson get the ball. I want to see Christian Clark. I want to see the freshman James Simon too. Like, I want to see those guys carry the rock a lot more. If Trey Wisner's not 100%, even if he is, I'll maybe give him 5 carries. There's just no reason to have him out there. Let him be the Julier holder like he was last week. That was iconic. And so on the offensive end, protect your quarterback, run the football effectively. On the defensive end, you talked about Colin Simmons. Yeah, he's gotta get going. He hasn't been horrendous, but the penalties have been an issue. Only half a sack through 2 games.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really been a nightmare matchup like we thought he might be heading into year 2 at Texas. This is the game where you had a better week last week when it comes to getting after the quarterback. This week, get a sack. Next week, get another sack. And then you start carrying the momentum into the bye week. You get Florida. Florida's got some talented players, a good offensive line. Let's get after DJ Lagway. Then let's get after John Mateer and those guys. So I want to see those guys. One thing I did take away from the San Jose State game, Grayson Littleton made some mistakes, but I'm happy he made those mistakes in that particular matchup because in the future, you want to see him really work those things out. You were a former safety, so I want to ask you, when a mistake happened early in your career, first of all, how'd it feel? And then what do you do to overcome those things to make sure the next time that mistake doesn't happen?
So, like, you feel nervous and like scared because you're one of the young guys playing. So you don't want to lose that opportunity because you made a mistake in the game. Granted, you've worked so hard to get to that point. So that's one thing. And then in terms of doing it again, the chances of it happening are like still 50-50 because he's going to play better competition. You know what I mean? So like I don't think he'll get beat on the same route, like the stutter and go. Like the first deep ball, like he got beat, quarterback missed it. The second one, he actually got picked. Like they should have called OPI, but they didn't call it. And then because then the very next play they tried him again and he was in perfect coverage. So like that tells me he's a fast learner. He responds quickly to like adversity, so he'll be fine. But like overall, like that feeling sucks because you don't want to let your guys down. Not anybody instead. You don't want you don't want to let those 10 guys who you're playing with beside you down because everyone has just their one job to do within that defense. So he'll be fine. like a lot of his mistakes, like it was a third down call. He was playing outside leverage with no help in the middle. Like that's just kind of freshman mistake. Line up inside. You have no help. You know what I mean? So like it's all the things he kind of had problems with, he'll get better at because it's all coachable. It's nothing talent-wise that he can't be coached. So I'm to your point, I'm very happy it happened versus San Jose State and not Ohio State, because then I would be worried about his confidence.
Yeah, well, especially when you're a young player, you're still trying to find your way. He's probably going to be lined up against Kenny Odom this week quite a bit. Kenny Odom, 5'10", 170. I've seen him play on the slot quite a bit, so you're going to see that matchup occasionally. Yeah, I mean, look, Grayson Lowden has all the talent in the world. We saw it versus Ohio State. Last week he made some mistakes, but they didn't cost Texas anything. He's going to get better for it, and ahead of this UTEP game, he should be getting even better. So, yeah. Look, UTEP, I'm not going to ask for your official prediction in terms of a score. Give me a range. How much are we beating them by? Before that, I do want to quickly take a look here at the line on the game. And I will ask you over under on this one.
All right.
Let me just check.
The line has to be plus 17, plus 21.
Oh, it's definitely, it's way over that probably, I'm sure. Because usually when it's at this level, you're looking at a line of probably over 30 probably. So what do you think score-wise? What are you expecting? And then while I figure out what the line is, I'll ask you afterwards.
Score-wise, I think we should hit the 45 mark range. If we come out, play clean football, we have explosive plays on offense, and we run the ball 45. And truthfully, we should keep the offense under 10 points. So I'm thinking somewhere 45-7. 45-10, 45-3, somewhere like they get very little yardage, very little points, like keep them out of field goal range, like just make the whole day very uncomfortable for them. So I'm calling a 30-point plus win.
Yeah, I think UTEP will score. I think they will score. I don't think they'll score a lot. My guess right now, again, not official, I'm thinking Texas probably 42, UTEP 10. That would be where I'm at right now. And on the same lines, what are you expecting from Arch Manning in this game, statistically and play on the field?
Pardon me? What'd you say? You were breaking
up. Arch Manning. Sorry. What are you expecting from Arch Manning here?
I don't want to see turnovers. Like, I don't want to see him put the ball in any bad spots. I don't want to see him force the ball into double coverage how he did week 1. I want to see, again, just clean football. Make the right read. If it's not there, take your check down. If that's not there, take off and run. Because, again, like, to me, the best part of his game are his legs, and I don't think he uses them enough. He ran for 20-yard touchdown last week, and, like that helps our red zone offense now that you have to account for this guy just breaking the pocket and going. So I want to see him play a clean game. He doesn't have to throw for 400 yards or 300 for that. He can throw for 225, rush for 70, and if he plays a clean game, we look way more dominant than him just standing back there being 22 of 38 throwing for 300 plus yards. Like, to me, that's not his game. His game is predicated on balance.
Yeah, I'm thinking for Arch, I don't really care touchdowns. I don't really care yards. I want an efficient game. Give me 25 of 30 for 215 and 2 touchdowns. If you give me that, I'll be very happy. I want to see him hit the easy stuff, which he did a better job this week, but I want to see the continuation of improving the footwork, improving the accuracy. And unfortunately on Underdog, there is no Texas line, but UGA Tennessee, Gunnar Stockton, over 17.5 rushing yards in this one. Are you taking the over or are you taking the under?
Ooh, Gunnar Stockton. He's mobile. I'm going to take the over because when things break down for that guy, he's going to run any chance he gets.
Yeah, and that's a good Tennessee team. Guys, here at the Voice of College Football, we are now officially sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. So if you guys would like, check out the link in the description. You guys can see some stuff there and figure out how you can get some bonuses for using our code Texas VOCFB. All right, let's finish up here on the UTEP game.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you think it would, to David Keith Williams' point, because I totally agree. Do you think it's time for Grayson Littleton to start opposite Muhammad and maybe slide Gilbo inside? Because I know he had a pick, but I don't think he's our best second corner. I don't think I just no. Like he scares me.
Yeah, I think the issue is if you were to bench Gilbo, part of that might send a bad message because he is a senior. I don't really want to mess with that much. Plus, when you're taking a freshman in Grayson Littleton and now saying, okay, you played nickel throughout all this, you've done all this work inside. Now we're going to stick you on the outside in your third or fourth game in college football. I haven't seen anything from Gilbo that has necessarily cost them too much. I mean, you held Ohio State for the most part in check. You had
the only touchdown they gave up passing was on Gilbo.
Well, in the Ohio State game?
Yeah. Like,
was that the Cardinal Tate one?
Yeah.
That was a great catch. I mean, yeah, he got burnt. It should have been a better play. He got burnt. My whole thing is I just don't like the idea of thrusting a nickel freshman right outside corner versus some of these other teams you're going to be playing. I think he's fine at nickel. I feel generally okay about Jalen. My one thing, if you don't feel great about Jalen Gilbo, then let's see what Kobe Black does. We got Warren Roberson. Right. I'm a big fan of Cade Phillips, the freshman. I think Cade Phillips is the guy who might be the future CB1 of this team. So if you think he has the potential, let's let him work.
So the only reason I say that because I watched the Texas San Jose State game again. I watched the Texas Ohio State game again. And I watch every level. I watch both sides, and I just study every position group. And I noticed the same thing is that Gilbo versus better competition, he he panics. Like that panic worries me. Whereas Grayson is very, even for a freshman, he's very poised, very polished. So, and Texas, we run cover 3 match, cover 3, cover 1 all game. It's and like a little cover 2. That's it. So everything is man, whether you're playing nickel or corner. So I don't think there'd be a huge adjustment for him personally. Like I get what you're saying because he'll probably get more targets and he's not as protected. So I do understand that. But like you're talking about just being able to like strap up and play man, and which is what Pete is asking guys to do. Like he does not protect them. Like they are mano-y-mano. If you can do it, you can do it. If not, you probably don't play. But I'm curious because I just think to get the best 11 on the field, I don't think he's one of them. I think I would try, or to your point, put Kobe Black out there. He has more upside. He's a better athlete. He has to learn how to play the ball in the air, but outside of that, like, you know what I mean? I feel a little bit more comfortable with him at the other corner.
Yeah, I worry about Littleton. He's not the biggest dude in the world. Really, he's a great athlete, but he's still a freshman. He's still framing out, getting stronger. I worry if you put him on an island versus, I mean, you already passed Jeremiah Smith, but if in the future we line up against Jeremiah Smith again, or you line up against one of those great receivers in college football, I worry about Grayson Littleton in that situation. Not because I don't think he's a good player. I think he's a great player, but having somebody who you've been teaching technique inside the nickel for the entire offseason, and he's sort of built his body weight around that, now sticking him out as an outside corner, which you can be 6 foot or 5'11" and play outside corner. We've seen plenty of them do that, but he hasn't framed out the same way that Manny Muhammad has, right? He's still young. He's still not physical enough. So if he's up and he has to run some sort of press, not sure he'll be great at that right now at this stage of his career. And that's not, I don't want to overreact to Gilbo quite yet. It's only been 2 games. And I think I've seen some good play from Kobe Black. It hasn't been perfect. It has definitely not been perfect, but I think I feel good enough about Black, and Manny Muhammad's, a great player. So you feel good about that one. I don't know. it's something definitely that if Texas wants to take a look at, they have the games to do so.
It's just something that I noticed today. Like for Gilbo to have the reputation of being like a press guy, he doesn't do a good job of using his hands. Like Kobe Black is more physical. Muhammad is he's very good at the line of scrimmage. So yeah, I was just studying the DBs today because that's what I do. I'm a DB. I always take a deeper look into those guys, and I was just looking it's like I saw the same stuff I saw last year, but it's not as noticeable because he's not getting the targets as much. It's going to the true freshman now. So yeah, I'm not panicking or I'm not necessarily worried. It was just a thought because it's just something that dawned on me as I was watching the tape.
Gotcha. All right. Well, before we pivot to talking about the Texas offense and then horns in the NFL, I'm going to go ahead and play really quickly a read from VOCFB Bets. Give me 2 seconds while I load this up. All right.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
Right. All right. Thank you guys for that. Make sure you guys check out Voice College Football Bets. Good content over there. Good stuff going on. All right. Let's go ahead and pivot now. Talk about the Texas offense. We've kind of hinted at it. I'm sure you guys talked about it in all other live streams. Offense has not been pretty, to put it nicely. Where are you at right now with this offense? And what is your biggest, most glaring concern? Which there's a lot, but which one would be your biggest right now?
Oh, my biggest is probably inefficiencies to get guys the ball downfield. Like we outside of the 83-yard pass to Parker Livingstone, like we haven't been able to like really push the ball downfield. And like most of that touchdown was him running. You're right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but we taking shots to Wingo, and to me, he's the only guy who's been given the shot to go deep. Like I get it, he's the fastest, but doesn't mean he can be the only deep threat. So, this goes without saying that the
penalties,
like that's bothersome in more ways than one. But our inability to create those chunk plays that made us so explosive and gave us some shorter fields and easier drives, like we're having a hard time creating explosive runs or passes. That and the screen game is god awful. I see why he didn't call him versus Ohio State. Oh my God. Like we couldn't pistol drop versus San Jose State throwing screens, and this it's dynamics of our offense that I thought we would be good at that we are struggling in more ways than one. So those would be my two biggest concerns.
Are you worried in any way? I know you kind of just gave Sark a break there with the screens. Are you worried about play calling anyway, or is that something that you felt was better in San Jose and you think now he's getting his groove back a little bit?
I'm not necessarily worried about the play calling because ultimately it's more so the execution. Because it'll be 10 guys do everything right, Arch dirt once in the ground.
Yeah.
10 guys do everything right, guy drops the ball. 10 guys do everything right, the right tackle misses a block. tight end misses a block. Like it's been that kind of thing where we can't even see the play. We don't even know if the play's going to be good because one guy won't do their job. So I don't think it's play calling as much as it is. It's just like executing like the little things. I'm still more so worried about the play calling in the red zone more than anything.
Yeah.
That'll be my biggest concern in terms of play calling. But overall, I'm not too concerned. It's just more so just like executing the things that we should be able to do, and we're just not doing them.
Yeah, to your point, this is it's been a weird start for Texas. And last year we came out the gates in that first game, and it was okay. It was a solid game. But then we went to Michigan and we put on a display, man. That Michigan game, Texas offense was on fire, right? And of course, as the season progressed, I think Quinn had an injury that kind of hurt his season, and then things finished the way they did. This one has been weird because we went to Ohio State, offense, outgained Ohio State, but we still lost because of some crazy mistakes, right? This San Jose State game, you would think that this would be a game where you execute at the highest level. After a bad game versus Ohio State, now you execute versus a bad team. Really was not the case in this one. The team really struggled to execute on simple things outside of that run we went on in the second quarter and late first quarter. So I think for me, my biggest concern right now would be on Arch. Not necessarily because I think Arch sucks. I'm worried about Arch because I think Texas has a national championship caliber roster. I just don't know if Arch Manning is quite yet ready, which, again, I think Arch will be a good quarterback. I think Arch he could be the guy that leads Texas to it. I don't know if it's this year as of right now. Through 2 games, I know Arch's numbers don't look terrible or anything like that. He's putting up some good numbers. He's made some nice plays, some beautiful throws. It's just right now you see a quarterback who is very, very much still developing. He's not there yet. He's still figuring things out, mechanics. I like his pocket presence a little bit, especially versus San Jose. I thought it got better that first game, not so much. Made a couple mistakes, but it's better than Quinn Ewers, which doesn't say a whole lot. Some of those little things, though, like you mentioned, the drops, sometimes accuracy issues, overthrowing it. It just feels like at times Arch is just a little bit in his head, and I think that's part of being a young quarterback in college football. One of the luxuries about having Quinn Ewers the past couple of years is you got to see him develop, right? Quinn in his first year was not the same Quinn Ewers we saw in his last year, right? Quinn had his flaws. Quinn had a lot of them, but he was a veteran at that stage. He had been in college football for 4 years at that point. He was a redshirt junior. So he had already been in the system for 3. He'd been in college football for 4. Yes, Arch has been in the system for 3 years, but unlike Quinn, Arch hasn't played, right? Arch has only played he's only started 5 games now. Is that correct? Yeah. So he's only started 5 games. Yeah. And so he's still going through the motions of figuring out how to be the starting quarterback for the Texas Longhorns. So I worry about the youth limiting Texas. And I think it's going to limit a lot of teams, not just Texas. Like I think Gunnar Stockton will limit Georgia. I think Ty Simpson will limit Alabama. I even think, although Julian Sayin just had a great game versus who they play? Who did Ohio State play this week?
Grambling.
Yeah, Grambling. He had a great game versus Grambling, but I still think Julian Sayin could limit Ohio State from where they want to ultimately go, just because experience does run king. And that's why I think Garrett Nussmeier has had success. Carson Beck has had success. Drew Aller, not so much Kate Klubnik, but that's a different story. I think that experience runs king, and unfortunately, right now, Arch, you can tell that he is an inexperienced quarterback making inexperienced quarterback mistakes. It's part of the reason why we've been saying Arch will be at Texas for 2-3 years, right? Even after this year, I think he will be at Texas next year because he's not done developing. He's got to get in-game reps, and unfortunately, that might limit Texas a little bit this year in terms of maybe not winning a national championship. But I still think SEC championship and playoff success is totally in the realm of possibility, especially if Arch does take those steps forward. So for me, my offensive concerns really stem with Arch Manning for this year. I think Arch will be a great quarterback, though, in the future for sure.
Yeah. So David Keith Williams, like, you're absolutely right. We should be a run first offense, 100%, because the run game opens up the pass game. It always has in football. But I think Arch legs in the run game is what's going to really open up this offense and make things easier for him. he plays with a different swagger and confidence. And he did redshirt. He definitely did redshirt because he only played 2 games his first year on campus.
Well, I think they're talking about Quinn Ewers.
Oh, technically he did redshirt.
Yeah, for Ohio State. Yeah. Bryce is right.
Yep. So, but yeah, Arch's legs to me is the key to opening up this offense. Like more so than anything, because I think he can make all the throws, but when he constantly has to see a multitude of coverages, then like it like why have a young quarterback think when he doesn't have to, when you can run him a little bit more and you can dictate what teams have to get into in terms of coverage. So in that regard, yeah, like can Arch take us to a national championship? I actually think he can. And the only reason I say that because it's something because it's something you said. A lot of good teams are young at quarterback. So many teams are young and inexperienced to where it's a matter of, okay, the surrounding cast and the defense. Which defense is better? And we saw that Ohio State has a good defense. We have a good defense. And everyone else outside of that really hasn't been tested. You know what I mean? Like LSU hasn't been tested. Clemson's not good. I never thought Cade Klubnik was the guy, but that's a whole nother conversation and story that me and you can have. But so we talk about defense running the ball. I think that's the formula to get us to where we want to go to. We have to David Keith Williams' point, if we can run the ball, stop the run, and play sound defense and it's old school football, right? It's boring. It's like, and then we allow Arch to grow in a more efficient manner, opposed to trying to put the game on his back and have him throw 30 plus times. Like, I don't want to see him throw 30 times. Take 5 of those throws, turn them into runs.
Interesting. So you're proposing more of like a Sam Ehlinger offense more so than a Quinn Ewers style offense. You want to see more designed runs for Arch, maybe not like 15 or 20, but let's say if Arch is doing 5, we want to see him run
5 to 7.
Yeah.
Why not?
Interesting.
And I don't think people understand how big Arch really is. Like, he's not a small human in terms of like his stature as a quarterback. Like, he's a good sized kid with some strength to him. Like, let's get him on the edge, get him guards in front, and let him get 7-8 yards. Because I'm telling you, it just changes how a defense has to prepare for you, because now they see another running back who can also just throw the ball downfield. So you have a quarterback sweep, then off that sweep you have a pass, you have a play action pass, but it looks like the same sweep you ran in the first quarter. Like, it just adds a different element. I'm not saying we run them. I don't think we run them more than 10 times, honestly. But when you throw in those design runs for a guy that athletic, it'll help him. And I think he plays more confident after he runs he runs, takes a hit, gets up with a little swagger. Like, you see a different guy than when he's just back there throwing it 3 times and then we're punting.
Yeah. So we talked about Arch Manning there, and I agree with everything you just said, by the way. Any concerns about the running backs? Any concerns about the receivers, tight ends, and offensive line?
Tight ends? I have concerns about the second tight end. Who's going to be who's going to step up and be the guy after Jack? Because I think Jack is a stud. I think he's a baller. I think he's a really good player. I think the offense I think him and Parker are 1A and 1B when you talk about our top targets. Like, guys who can trust, guys who can get open, guys who are like efficient in all areas of the field. They can catch deep, they can catch short. So I'm not worried about the tight end. I'm worried about, and you said it, I want to say you said it week 1 or maybe before that, who's going to be the number 1. Now, it looks like it's going to be Parker. Now, like, I know he's not a dynamic athlete per se as like a wingo, but he's an efficient route runner. He has good hands, and Arch seems to trust him. That's enough for me to be, if that's your number 1, so be it. And everyone else around you have to adapt. All the guys who thought they were the guy, they are going to have to fall into their role. I need to just see more from the receiver room in total. Like, they have, like, no one's outside of Parker. No one has done anything of relevance. No one. So that group has to step up. In the running back room, we got to stay healthy. Like, I get it, it's San Jose State, but I still want to see Trey Wisner out there so we can see our offense at full potential and, see how the balance is going to work and see how guys feed off each other and see how we can have multiple ways to run the ball with different backs. But having guys banged up so early, it's like, that group needs to stay healthy. But outside of that, it's nothing major. It's just like guys need to step up.
Well, I'll tell you a freshman who I want to see a lot more, Nick Townsend. My God, bro, he made some plays out there. He was doing some stuff in the run game. I know he's a freshman, but
body. I like
that dude's big. I like him too. I wouldn't mind seeing him on the field a little bit more. I would have liked to see Jordan Washington, but it still feels like he's not there 100% yet. He's still going and developing. Although he makes a couple plays here and there in practice and in games occasionally where it's like, man, this guy could be great. But I don't know. Nick Townsend is really intriguing to me. And you're right about the receivers, by the way. They need to step up. DeAndre Moore made a couple or more plays in this past game, but I don't know. Me personally, I've never viewed DeAndre Moore as a wide receiver one. I view him very much kind of in the same light that I did with Jordan Whittington those past, the last couple of years of his career, where he won't be your number one. He could be your wide receiver two on some games, but he's an excellent wide receiver three. Ideally, Wingo's your one, Livingstone's your two, and then DeAndre's your three. You can line those guys in any sort of way, but hasn't quite panned out that way. I mean, I'm intrigued to see Emmett Mosley. We haven't seen him yet on the field, so there's something there to potentially untap as well. But I feel like Arch is very much somebody who has his guys. Like, he doesn't trust some of these other receivers. And so I kind of worry about that with Emmett Mosley. Khalil Lockett, to me, he made some plays versus San Jose State that gives me some hope about his future. So I wouldn't mind seeing him be used a little bit. We also talked about Ryan Niblett on past live streams too. I wouldn't mind seeing him get more opportunities as a speedster. I feel like for Sark, and I feel like in some ways this is maybe one of the flaws with Sarkisian and his recruiting the past couple of years. He hasn't been getting the fast guys, right? The speedsters, right? He didn't recruit Worthy. He brought that one in. He's transferred a couple of guys here and there. And not to get off subject here about the special teams, but our special teams is just, you're not getting nothing from the punts or kickoff game like you used to, because you used to have the speedsters back then. I don't think we have that on our team right now. Obviously we had Decorian Moore, at least we thought, and he went to Oregon. Ryan Williams, we tried our hardest to get that guy on Texas, but those didn't work out. Although, hey, Bama might be sucking this year. Let's see if we can get Ryan Williams in the transfer portal. Hey now, you want to play with Arch? I'm kidding. We'll see if that happens. But yeah, I think tight end room, I want to see more Nick Townsend. Let's see if he can get some more reps. I love Jack Andrews. He's done a great job so far. Ryan Wingo. I want to see Ryan Wingo. He has to speaking about UTEP, I want to see Ryan Wingo with at least 5 catches. I want 5 catches for Ryan Wingo. I want a big game, and I want to see him carry that momentum moving forward. I love Livingstone, and I'm happy he is getting going. He has been really good for this offense. Wingo takes this offense to another level with his size, with his athleticism, and all the things that come with him as well. So those are some things. Lastly, to end off this little segment here, any worries about the offensive line? Let's not pick on Brandon Baker, because that's obviously the big one. But any outside of him,
I mean, just the penalties, honestly. Like we have to cut down on the BS pre-snap penalties. It's becoming kind of a thing where we know in the first 3 drives, we're getting sued. We're going to get behind the sticks on 1st and 10, getting 1st and 15, struggling to move the ball on 2nd down, get into a 3rd and 10 plus or a 3rd and not, like somewhere up there and not get the 1st down. And to me, that's the biggest issue into why we suck on 3rd down. You talk about efficiency, because we struggle getting to the 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 5 or less. If we can stay in that range, now going forward on 4th down, I don't care where you are, it just makes sense. But you know what? Yeah. We got 2 downs to get 5 yards. If we can't do that, we're not good. But when you're talking about you constantly have to get 3rd and 11s, 3rd and 12s, and now you're predictable, it makes any quarterback job hard. I don't care who you are. So I would like for the offensive line to play up to their talent level in the run game first and foremost, because we should dominate the line of scrimmage. And then secondly, stop with the penalties. Like we have to control what we can control, and we can control not moving pre-snap.
Yep. I agree. I think penalties is the big one. I also want to see consistency. We were so good versus Ohio State for the most part. Made some mistakes, but that's to be
Yep.
expected. But we were good versus Ohio State, and then for whatever reason versus San Jose, those guys decided to sleepwalk through the game a little bit, which that might happen for an offensive line. So we want to see that improved. All in all, I think for both of us, the main takeaways from this one: Sarkisian is getting better. It feels like he's starting to get things going. Arch Manning, let's find some consistency. Ryan Wingo, we need you to step up. DeAndre Moore, let's step up. We want to see a bit more of Nick Townsend in the tight end room. That would be great. And offensive line, let's limit the penalties. So that is that for this. Let's move on now to our last segment of today's live stream. Let's talk about some of the horns in the NFL. Week 1 of the NFL season was pretty damn good. We saw games Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday. Some excellent games. I'm going to go in order from the first pick all the way down to a couple of them. So let's go ahead and start off here with Kelvin Banks. I quickly want to pull up his PFF score because PFF always does a great job of giving you really good information. But of course, we also watch the film, so I'll let you speak on that here in a second. PFF grade him at a 74.4 pass blocking grade, 75 offensive snaps, no sacks, no penalties. What were your thoughts on Kelvin Banks?
He played such a clean game. Like, for that to be his first game, like, this dude's going to be one of the highest paid tackles one day. Like, he's on that trajectory to where, like you see everything you saw throughout his career in terms of his talent, and it showed up early. Like, he looked so poised and confident. Like he's really balanced. Like, I don't think people truly understand how athletic tackles really are. Like, outside of DBs, I have the utmost respect for tackles because they play backwards and they have to deal with 250-pound plus guys and speed and power. And he handled the bull rush, speed on his edges, pressures, stunts. He handled all of that like a seasoned vet. So I'm really looking forward to watching him play. I thought in the run game he showed a little bit more nasty than what I was accustomed to seeing on tape. So that's always encouraging. But no, Kelvin Banks he's a stud in every shape, form, and fashion of this game. Yeah,
good start to his young career. Had a nice day. This upcoming week, the Saints play. Last week they versed the Cardinals, so he was lined up versus Josh Sweat quite a bit. Mm-hmm. This upcoming week they go up against the Niners, so Alfred Collins will be seeing his teammate, as well as Nick Bosa will be lining up quite often, and Micah Williams. So this will be a nice little game here for Kelvin Banks to prove his worth. Moving now to Jahdae Barron, a DB, obviously your domain. Last game, he played in 21 snaps. He also did some work in special teams. 50.3 overall grade, 49.8 coverage grade, 60.6 run defense grade. More importantly, 0 receptions allowed, 0 picks, 0 tackles. So what were your thoughts on Jahdae? Obviously, the grades weren't particularly good, but he only played 21 snaps.
So like with PFL, I have a love-hate relationship with them because
I do too.
They don't understand like coverages and like protections well enough to like for me to give a fair grade. But to like get a 50 on 21 snaps is crazy. Anyway, again, he played a clean game. Like these Texas guys, you can tell they were coached the right way, they were groomed the right way in terms of like just how they handle pivotal moments, key situations. And for Jahdae playing special teams, like this is different for him. Like he didn't, like he played it a little bit early in his career, but like the last 2-3 years of his career, he'd have to test special teams. So for him to, step up as a pro and be able to handle that job and do it at a high level as well, like kudos to him. But he, as the season goes on, he's going to play more and more because the coaches will get more and more comfortable with him. But when you're talking about game planning week in and week out, it's really just, can you be consistent? And I think that's one of his strengths. So he will get better, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, he's in Advanced Joseph system, so a lot of things going on there. It's also, he's kind of at a weird, almost, I don't want to say disadvantage, but maybe a disadvantage because they don't really know where to use him at right now. Do we play him inside? Do we play him on the outside? Do we put him at safety? So he's probably been moving around quite a bit. He'll find his footing in one spot, and good little game here for him. Now we move over to your Green Bay Packers. Matthew Golden, 2 catches for 16 yards, only 2 targets. Obviously, was a part of a massive blowout victory against the Detroit Lions. What were your thoughts on Golden? And, what role do you think he'll serve moving forward?
Go Pack, go. So yeah, like his role again, like early in the year, when you're talking about live games, these coaches have to earn that trust for you. Like they have to see the work you put in and week out, how you handle the game plan, how you handle adjustments on the sideline. Because I've seen it, I've lived through it. You go through a game plan week. Oh, we're putting in 8 new calls, and we're going to use them in these situations. You get to the end of the first quarter, tossing all this out. We're going to some old stuff that we haven't practiced since training camp. So for Matthew, his big moment will come. He's going to be the deep threat. Christian Watson isn't back yet, so he's definitely going to have his opportunities, have his moments. But because they have so many other guys,
yep,
it's just going to take some time. But like he's a baller. So again, like no panic button here. It's just things just take time.
Yeah, I mean, you're not kidding. They have Tucker Kraft. When they get Christian Watson back, they'll get him. They're a very run-heavy team with Josh Jacobs, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs. Is he still on the team still?
Yeah,
Romeo Dobbs, a couple other guys. So, yeah, I think Matthew Golden, he'll get more integrated in the offense. It's just a week 1 game. He had 2 catches, so solid start. All right, we get to the second round here. We'll speed past a couple of these guys because some of them did not play. Yep. Alfred Collins did play, but I don't even want to call out his scores. He played 9 total snaps, 7 run, 2 pass. He had a 58.0 pass rush grade, but a 29.3 run defense grade, 7 snaps. Not sure if
I know why.
Why?
I know why.
1 big play?
And I saw it. No, like he was getting moved.
Oh, okay. Let's hear
it. He was getting moved off the ball laterally. Like when he saw real guards and real centers that he didn't see in the preseason, and he tried to play high, they were washing him, man. Like it was, and like you have a stud behind you. So all you got to do is hold your ground. He'll make the play. He wasn't allowing Fred Warner to be Fred Warner at times when he was in. So again, that goes back to, can the coach trust you, and can the captain of the defense trust you to do your job? And right now I would say no, just based off what I saw on tape. He was very inconsistent versus what I thought he should be good at, which is stopping the run.
Yeah, I mean, he still got time. He only played a handful of snaps, but he's a raw player still. Even though he did spend a lot of time at Texas, he's still very raw. Has all the tools in the tool shed, though. So we'll see if he can pick it forward. Andrew Makuba next up. He had a pretty damn good day versus my Dallas Cowboys. 4 solo tackles, only gave up 1 catch, 66.6 run defense grade, 63.3 coverage grade. He played a total of 36 coverage snaps and 15 run defense snaps. Basically almost a full-time starter for the defense. What were your thoughts on him? Because I thought he played pretty well.
I'm with you. I love Makuba. And it's interesting how they play all those guys, because it's Brown, Makuba, Cooper, Mitchell, Blankenship. Like they'll play 3 safeties, 2 corners, 3 corners, 2 safeties, 4 safeties, 3 corners. Like how they do all that is actually very impressive. But I think his best football is definitely ahead of him. He's going to be such a good player once he's
now.
I
got to ask you a question. Obviously, we're going to focus on Texas here, so I want to really keep this focused on Makuba. Philly has a bit of a situation with their outside corner too, right? They just don't have a guy there. Kelly Ringo hasn't worked out. All the other guys, I can't remember his name. Yeah, none of them are good. Do you think there's a possibility they put Cooper DeJean at outside corner and then bring down Makuba inside to play nickel like he did at Clemson?
Yes.
Because they also have Sidney Brown too, who's a good player.
Exactly. So in that case, they will have less packages, but they'll be able to do just as much because those guys are like, they all can rotate and move. So you're talking about Sidney Brown, Makuba, or being 2 guys who could come down and play in the slot and passing or running situations. But because Makuba is such a good athlete who can play in space, he can cover, he can tackle at the line of scrimmage, I think that's Philly's best bet. Like, I watched the game thoroughly. And I'm like, if they don't find a corner opposite of Quinyon Mitchell,
it's done.
It's you're done. So their best bet is to play the rookie at nickel, at least on first and second down, and then move him back to safety or move him to dime on third down. But that's like he has to be on the field. Like he's always around the ball. He's always in the right place. Like, like he might have one or two plays where I'm like, your eyes are wrong or your feet were bad. But outside of that, I thought he played like really efficient in his movements. He wasn't all over the place like I've seen some young DBs. So yeah, that's Philly's best bet for sure.
Yeah, if you want to put the best 5 out there, you definitely got to put Andrew Makuba in. So we're going to quickly, there's only one more player that actually got snaps. Vernon Broughton did not play. Barron Sorrell did not play. Jaden Blue did not play, but he is going to play a lot for Dallas. We'll keep an eye on him. Hayden Connor, Cam Williams, Quinn Ewers, they did not play in week 1, but Gunnar Helm did. He had 2 targets for 1 catch and 16 receiving yards. I do not have any other grades on him, though. I did see this 1 catch. I thought it was a nice play by Gunnar Helm. What are your thoughts on Gunnar Helm, and what is his role moving forward? Because it does look like that Titans team could use some reliable weapons.
He's going to be one of Cam Ward's favorite targets. I'm going to call it now because he catches the ball. Yeah. Cam Ward throws a very fast ball, like all over the field. Like catchable balls for athletes of that stature, but he does throw, like the ball comes out quick and it comes out high. He throws a fastball perfectly fine. So he's going to need guys he trusts, and I think he's one of those guys. Like he has soft hands, he knows how to get open, he knows how to find the soft spaces in zone coverage. Like beautiful route runner for a tight end. Like I love the way he plays the game. So I think as the season goes along, he's going to be called upon more to be a safety net for Cam Ward.
Yeah. All right. Final thoughts here. Any last thing you want to say about these players? Obviously, not everyone played, but we did see a lot of good things from this Texas this Texas draft class. Guys on offense played well. Guys on defense made some plays. Your general thoughts about what the draft class has shown so far?
The draft class has shown that Sark knows what he's doing. So people be patient. Like those guys weren't draft picks. I'm telling you, I went to that school numerous years before they were all eligible. They weren't draft picks early, just like the guys on this Texas team right now. But they developed and they got better, and now they're NFL starters or rotational players. Like, give it time. So let Sark do what he does. Trust in him. Trust in his process because it's proven that it works. Now we just have to get over the hump. But that would be more so than anything. Just trust the man who helped get them guys to the NFL.
100%. All right. Any last thing you want to say about Texas, San Jose, UTEP, NFL? Anything you want to say before we close off, or any questions you might have?
I got a question for you.
Okay, let's hear
it. Who do you think is one on offense, one on defense? Give me your picks for player of the game.
Versus UTEP?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go Ryan Wingo, player of the game, because we did hear Arch talk about wanting to get Wingo involved. I think they're going to try to force feed him the football a little bit. So I'm going to go Wingo, player of the game. I think he at least gets 1 touchdown. I could see him breaking off a screen or some sort of underneath route or something for a big play. So I'm going to go Wingo on offense. Defense, give me I hope it's Colin Simmons. I would love to see Colin Simmons go out there, but I haven't really seen anything there.
Be Colin Simmons.
I hope it is. He needs to. I might go Ethan Burke, honestly. I would like to see Ethan Burke get going. Give me Alex January, though. Let me see him put in some work against the run, put in some work versus the pass. I think Wingo's a safe bet on the offensive end to have a big day. I think Alex January could be a fun player because he's looked really good so far. I want to see him take that next step this game and really start to elevate his talent. Gotcha. What say you?
I'm going to take CJ Baxter. I think he gets going. I think he has a 100+ yard game. I think this is where we see like him go kind of like, okay, like I'm back. And then on defense, to your point, I want to take Colin Simmons. I don't know if I believe it. I don't know. But I'm gonna go with the captain of the defense, Michael Taft.
Ooh,
I think
turnover.
I think this one of those games where it's gonna be some tips, it'll be some overthrows. It'll be him or Jelani, one of the two. It's one of those games where the ball's going to be kind of sprayed all over the place. Be the opportunity to make plays.
All right. Well, everybody, before we end off, I do want to shout out the Voice of College Football merch. If you guys want to, let me share with you guys. We have merch, VOCFB. If you just look up VOCFB merch, you'll see it should be the first link. We got some hats. We got some shirts. We have all sorts of things in here. So if you guys are interested, make sure to check this out. Again, VOCFB merch, mugs, coolers, can coolers, tumblers. I know for me, I want one of these polos. Yeah, polo. Yeah. I need this trucker hat too. I like this one. This is pretty cool. We definitely got to get ourselves some.
Absolutely. I told you I need it right here. I
know. We got to tell them. Also, if you guys would like, we do have a membership. If you guys want to join, there's different tiers. They all unlock different things. So if you guys are interested in anything like that, make sure to check it out. B. Ross, anything else before we end off?
Be sure to follow us on social media.
Yes.
I'm 1B Ross on X, IG, TikTok, YouTube. Be sure to follow.
Yes, make sure to follow me too at Metro Sports on YouTube, X, now on Instagram as well. I'm posting all sort of stuff there, so you can check us out there. We are the Tuesday Primetime live stream. I will be back, or we will both be back on Tuesday next week, as well as on Saturday post game after the UTEP game. So keep an eye on us. We appreciate all of you guys for watching. You guys have a good night and hook 'em.